Welcome to Pram City TV. My name is Godwin Mbedu Bakantiche. Today we happen to be in Saboba in the northern region of the Republic of Ghana. And when we are talking of Saboba, you know that we are talking about the hometown and the headquarters of Konkombas across the nation and then the world at large. And today we are here to learn more about the Konkomba people, to know who they are, where they come from, what they do. So we are privileged to be talking to one of the natives and then actually a leader to the group of Konkombas in the world. And that is Kuya. That's the Konkomba Youth Association president. I would go over to him, then he'll give us a background. This is still Pram City TV, and now you can see my guest. Um, he will introduce himself to you, and then we'll get the action rolling. You're welcome, sir.
Fine, thank you.
Sir, your name and then your portfolio in Kapapang.
My name is Jawul Bisuna Titus. I am the National President of Konkomba Youth Association.
We are grateful that you've made time for us to have this interview with you. And so, being the leader of Konkombas in the world, yeah. When they say Konkombas, who are Konkombas?
Thank you very much. The name Konkomba is corrupted version of the name. We call ourselves Bukwakpam, and the language we speak is Lukwakpam. But the Europeans anglicized the name to be Konkombas. And when talking about Konkomba, you cannot talk about Konkombas in isolation. Konkomba is one of the clusters of 4 groups of people known as Gurma tribe. We are members with the Basari, the Bimuba, then the Chamba. And for one to know much about us, that person will have to visit prehistory. People often talked about us and relate our activities and other things with the coming of the white man. And that is why people don't know much about us. We are better known when it comes to telling the story of who we are. Especially when you talk about, you use the legend and the myth that contains creation stories. We have popular creation story about how our great grandfather was created, and that's linked to the world. Our people have the story that God was very close to the earth, and he dropped feces that contained 3 organisms. And these 3 organisms were buried in the round hole, the ground. One of the organisms matured to become a man. And in 3 years' time, he came out from the ground first. That's why we called man Uja Njai, meaning the man came out first. And the 2 other women were covered. And that is the act of pee, covering in pee. Then the 4th year, they also came out. Then they started the race of the world. At that time, these 3 people could not get food because everything was not in uniform. There was no tree, nothing. So God allowed them to go into the sky and cut, we call it Tapalangba, flesh from the sky, until a jealous woman potter's ash, and then the meat caught fire, and then the sky suspended higher and higher, leaving the people. Instantaneously, God created fruits, and then they started eating, and then until the whole world grew up, and then our ancestors detached from the others. So when you look at the accounts, the Guans, the Moli speaking, the Gbani and others, they have similar stories. And we and the Basaris and the Bimuba, we also have the same story as who we are. So we started growing up. People believe that the name Bukpakpam or Konkomba evolved from some mystical stories. Some believe that our own people had different names with other tribes, but one of them God mission, and dwarves took him to the forest. And you know that the name of dwarf is Bukpakpam. Bukpakpam. So when they returned, their ancestors had migrated, so they could not identify themselves with their original name. So they associated the name Bukpakpam to themselves. Hence, the name evolved to become Bukpakpam. Others also said that these particular people were hunters. They were going around in the forest, killing animals and depending on animals and eating wild honey. Till the time that they developed the sense of coming together to kill animals. So the name Bukpakpam evolved from two great hunters who came together and called themselves Bukpampa, meaning two great hunters came together. There's another theory that says that there were two farmers who came together. And these two farmers, because they were farmers and came together, they say, Bukpa, ba, meaning two farmers came together. So we have 3 or 4 perspectives as to how the name Bukpakpam originated. Okay, during the historic era, nobody knows much about Bukpakpam, just like any other tribe, until in the 18th century when the white people came around. And we are known to be alive that time. We fought the German very strongly. I visited some of the places. Nawar, I still have the pictures in my laptop. Our great grandfathers fought the Germans very well at Ibubu, defeated them on several counts. Then we lived as independent people. But today people talk and they say Bukpakpam have no history. We don't know where we come from. No, we have history. That history was written in our heart and heads. That is through the storytelling. And any tribe in the world get to know their origination through storytelling. And as I was saying, Bukpakpam are geographically numerous. If you take the demography, you realize our location in the world, we are found in several countries. We are yet researching to where we can find this Bukpakpam. But when you get to Cameroon, you get names like Waja and others. I went to Burkina Pompolampo #1. We met some people who came from Cameroon, and then they said they have Bukpakpam. We all speak and then we understand. Bukpakpam are divided into 6 major clans. We have Benafia, which I am one. We have Bum, which you are one. We have Vichabo. We have Nakpanti. We have Bukuom, and then we have Bumwangpom. So under these major clans, we have sub-clans. And we further have micro clans. And it is within the macro clans that you actually know who belongs to what. When you go to Bukwala, they have about 72 macro clans. When you come to Bukbom, they have about 8. You come to Bichabo, they have about 12, about 8. When you come to Nakpanti, they have about 9. When you come to Binafel, they have about 12. So these micro clans further group together to form the tribe of Bukpakpam. Bukpakpam, we are known because of our culture. We have a unique culture. We are identified, or somebody can easily identify us because of our culture. Like I was telling you, the story I told you about the round hole is a typical cultural epitome of Bukpakpam. Because we believe that God created us and put us into the hole, round hole, before we got matured and then, came out from the soil. When somebody dies, our grandfathers will dig a grave, round one, they call it Fowl, round one, and then they will bury our people there. Just because of the belief that that's how God buried us before we matured and came. We have several cultures. One of the cultures we are identified with is our Yam Festival. Unlike other people who celebrate Yam festivals and things that it is something to bring economic and others, there is cultural and it is associated with our Yam Festival. Because we believe that our ancestors were taken by the dwarfs into the forest, it is believed that these people returned from the forest with yam. And then the yam that was given to them by the dwarf, which we call Bukpakpam. So it is believed that when our ancestors started their predatory life, they were not killing animals and wanted to be farmers. They started growing yam. And anytime they grow yam, they have to give the yam to the dwarfs first. So there's a belief that if you bring the yam inside the house directly, without giving it to other spirit being to carry it to the forest for the dwarfs to feed before you feed, you will not get bunny harvest, or there's something bad luck or something of that nature. So the yam will be dark, kept at the outskirts of the house, and in the evening, the elders will come and then take the yam and then go and give it to our spiritual entities before the yam is cooked, and then other people will eat it. So we have this spiritual horns called jambwe, and other they have to eat that yam. So we are known by that particular culture. Also have another culture called Ndupwanda, Guinea Corn Festival. It is another festival that is typically the Konkomba festival. These particular people, they also came with grain, cereals, and this cereal was this idi or Guinea corn. So every year we celebrate the festival annually to honor our dead ancestors who brought that particular Guinea corn. And you know, our people also celebrate 5 festivals. But I can hear some Congolans say that is not typical of us. No, it is. Because it is believed that when people were still many in the world, they were living around a mountain called the Mountain of God. Then they committed sins, and God made them to fight and scattered. So when they scattered, our ancestors detached themselves. And where they were, God still sent his prophet to come and warn them. The people would not listen. So some of them hid and killed the prophet of God. Then God came down to look for his prophet. So unlike the Bible, who says that the second coming of Jesus, our people believe that God came down by himself to look for the prophet. They threw the body away. So God was looking for the prophet they couldn't get. So anytime they were passing, they believed that the ghost frightened the people. So it is believed that culture is a component of Bukowang we identify, and that is our identity. So we are a people very unique from others, except that we are affiliated with the Bimowes and others who have that. But it is believed that we migrated from somewhere.
Yes, Mr. President, yeah, you said that you migrated from somewhere, but it's like we know other tribes, other clans where they migrated from. You can tell about that of the Gans, that of the Akans. Also, where did the Kokomes migrate from?
Yeah, thank you. When people started dispersing, we cannot tell precisely where they migrated before they came to Egypt and other places. But it is believed that we congregated at Niger Bend, the Niger Bend, the Western Sudan today. Our people were there, the Moses were at the left side of the river bank. There are some material, when you read them, you will see something similar. Then we had a problem. You know, people could not get water. So wherever you were, you have to live at the riverside. So our people were living there with Blanca, the Chakusi, the Basari, and others, the Kusuntu, Kotokoli. We migrated together. So while we were there, there was a war that happened between the Fulanis and the Chakusis. That caused us to migrate.
Wow, this is revealing, my brother. I'm sure this is a whole lecture that you wouldn't get from anywhere unless on Palm City TV. So if you have not subscribed to, you are missing a lot because this is revealing. This is telling us who the people or the concumbers are. So just hit the like button or the subscribe button, then you get more because this is where all you need to know about a people can be gotten. Yeah, so he has said a lot of things. The president of Koya, Mr. Jawel Besuna Titus, have said a lot about the Konkomba people. Let me ask him what they do for a living. What do the Konkombas do for a living?
Yeah, we are a typical Konkomba is a Nigerian person. We farm. As I told you, these cereals were given to our ancestors. And we migrated with from the Niger Belt with it. we fought the Chakosis before we came to our present location. Because while we were there, that was the time that Islam started in Morocco. So when the Islam started in Morocco, the Fulanis were the first people to be Islamized. So the Fulanis wanted to also fight and conquer other people to become to accept Islam. Our people were the pagans. They hated it. So they have to fight the Chakosis, the Fulani, and then the Fulani were able to capture the Chakosis. So the Chakosis now asked for support of the Konkombas and other people to fight the Fulanis and reclaim their warriors, which we refused. And that was a war between all of us there, and then we migrated. So if you're a Konkomba, you see that the Konkombas will say that they don't marry Fulani, they don't intermarry Fulani. That is exactly where the taboo evolved.
So it's actually a taboo.
It was not a taboo per se. The Fulanis used their girls to subdue the Chakosis warriors. And then the girls deceived them and took them to the bush to have sex with them. So their warrior came and took their weapons and defeated them. So they have a god called Dimbe. So their ancestor vowed that the Fulani women are bad women. Anybody who sleeps with a Fulani woman will have bad luck. So all the tribes that was around those areas took it that the Fulani women are bad luck. You should not intermarry with them. So this was exactly what happened.
This is revealing. I'm fascinated. You just have to subscribe, and then you'll be updated and know your history. So we've gotten to know that Konkombas are typically farmers. He said something about the festivals of the Konkomba people. I want to ask, what if you don't perform these rites, like the Yam Festival and then the Guinea Corn Festival? What are the implications? What are the implications that you don't perform this rites?
The implications are 2 or 3. Culturally, it's your identity. When you don't celebrate that particular festival, it means that you have lost your identity as a Konkomba. And time to come, you will not know because everybody is known by their culture. Secondly, we have a belief that we live with the spirit beings. You know, twins, our ancestors, the Almighty God, and our Ngitungba. That's the F gods. This we believe that they come together to help us to get bounty harvest. So if we don't celebrate these festivals, it means that those people will not help us to get harvest, and there will be hunger. And if there's hunger, people will automatically fight. And when they fight, there will not be peace. Then secondly, this festival brings us together. People who are away home and who are around. I could hear you say that this is the traditional capital of Nkpakpa. It's true. We have 2 areas which are associated with our name, Nkpakpa and Nkpakpando. Nkpakpa is typically where our ancestors originated. You can find their graves. You can find their spiritual homes. Nkpakpando is other areas where Nkpakpa live in their number, can have political advantage, but their ancestors were not buried there. They don't have their spiritual homes and other ancestral juju. So when you come to Saboba area, Gushegu, Yendi, this is exactly where we call Nkpakpa. And actually we call this place Nkpakpa because we had lived here before any other tribe.
Wow.
Because one, as at the time in the 16th century was the time that the Gomes came to this area. But by the 14th century, we were already here. That's why there's no historian who can tell exactly that Konkombas never lived on this area before the 14th century. Because we didn't accept Islam. If we had accepted Islam, we would have also been located in northern Nigeria, Zamfara. But because we came, we met the Dagomes and others who were already Muslims, and because we were pagans, we could not settle with them. So we bypassed and trekked with Kosontu, Blanca, Kotokoli, and others. And settled. That's why you can see that when you get to Togo, you see that Kotokoli, we are bordering the Cabri, the Blanca, and others. We are still following our source. So it was in the 16th century when the Gomes, because they were defeated by the Gunjes, now came to Yendi. And the one who crossed them to the current place in Yendi was called Nada.
Nade.
Yeah, he was called Nade. So where we settled first, before other tribes came to meet us, is where we call Kepapa.
So this Nade, does it have any link with the people of Konkombas?
Yeah, you know, Nade, typically they were in Yendi, where we call Yendi. Yendi was known as Char. And the name Char is associated with one of our clans, as I mentioned earlier, called Chati. So Njona was the Utenda at that time. And Njona was the one who placated our gods. And when they came, they used to come to trade. You know, there was this ivory, salt, and other things. So they knew this place already. So in the 16th century, when the Gunja fought the Dagombes, Naluru at that time knew that this area was safer for him to come in. So they came, and that time the Kulkweni bridge you have seen was not bridged. So they were using gauge to cross people. And that was one of those who were already there. So they could now cross them to come to settle with us. And you know, because of our gods, we didn't like this. Islamic character. So our people decided that because of the gods and other things, they could not live with the strangers who came with horse. And there are some historical beliefs associated with horse. The Konkombes never use horse. Because we believe that when our people were domesticating animals, our grandfather was domesticating a horse. And in the process, the horse killed a baby. And when that horse killed a baby, it was wild. So they believed that the horses were bad animals. So our grandfathers never liked the horses. So when they brought horses and came, they decided that they were going to migrate to Kulupeni, where they are today. They pleaded that Nada should go and settle there so that they could be crossing people who were trading in this area. So the Otinda, they settled on him because he was already there. He was a great hunter. So he was there. The strangers who were on their land were having a different custom with them. They started to migrate and join Nada at Kulupeni and asked, what's Kulupeni? The name Kulupeni is a typical name for Konkomba, and that shows the reason why our people claim that they own that area.
So I will come back to I will come back to the historical antecedents of how come Konkombes are located here. So tell us the meaning of Kulupeni.
Yeah, there are two words juxtaposed to form the name of the river. It is that stretch of river called River Dakar. And Nkpene means river. Nkulokpene. But then there are these animals, antelopes. They had some particular brand called Okule. So typically they usually come there to drink. So our people name these animals after the river. Nkulokpene. That is the meaning of the name. Nkulokpene.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us these historical antecedents. You are still watching Pram City TV. I want to encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are in Saboba, the capital of Kepapang, or the Konkomba people, and you are watching Pram City TV. If you have not subscribed to it, then you are a bit late, and then hit the like button if you like this, because this is revealing, this is bringing out a lot. Mr. President, so the historical records that Konkumbes feared the horses, that was what led to their invasion in the north, is factually inaccurate.
It's not true. You know, the first person who brought the story, you know, the historians take records from people. You have never seen, look, it was the David Tate who wrote something about Konkombes running away and giving out yen to the Dagombes. Cliff Masoro also came to talk about that. But it was during the time of Ratri and others who recorded the history. So they took it from them. And Konkomba's story, no, it is not true. You know, even as 1911, when we have the encounter with the German, the Konkombes had a bitter encounter with the German. And the Kotokoli and the Chakosis form an ally, military ally, to fight the Konkombas. And actually, it was the Chakosis who betrayed the Konkombas to the German. When we had our first encounter with them, they were using the war tactics, cutting the left finger of the Konkombas. And you know, we use bow and arrow. And when you thrust your bow and arrow, it gets that use your left foot to back yourself before you thrust the arrow. So when they disclosed to the German that if you want to defeat Konkombas, you cut their left finger.
The thumb.
The thumb. So what happened was that the German arrested some Konkombas and sent them to Mango and gave them an arrow to shoot, which they shot perfectly. So they cut their thumb, and then when it was still, they could not do that. So the German now started cutting the left tongue of Konkombas so that they will render them incapable of thrusting their arrows. Actually, it's inaccurate. Konkomba never failed horses, and they never ran and left Yindi. That is what I'm telling you, that they had even left. The Dongomba actually came with horses, and they came because they were attacked by the Gonjes. And another, sequence, they could not do anything. Somebody would have asked this intelligent question. If they came to fight Konkombas and they were chased by the Gonjas, how then they were able to defeat Konkombas with their children and wives? Where did they keep their wives and children before they fought Konkombas? What is the name of that war and which year? No historian has been able to provide anything of that sort. So any historian who will provide the date, the name of the war, and any other thing, you realize that it will be true. But there's nothing like that.
So, Mr. President, I want to ask. We know the guns are associated with the Pupui for the Homoho festival, and then the accounts are known like for Banku or Fufu, and then the others with Akple, the Voltarians. What is the food? What food and drink do the Konkombas eat and drink?
Thank you very much. Typical as we are, we have what we call TZ, Busatum. And we used to, they used to prepare from Guinea corn and Fonu, Upui. That's the typical, food for Konkombas. We also drink Pito. And Pito is one of the best drinks in the world. If you come to our land and you taste Pito, you actually know that we have one of the rich drinks in the world.
What is Pito? What is Pito made of? Or like what?
Yeah. Pito is brewed by using Guinea corn, like I'll say it. They put it in water for just 3 days, remove it. It will germinate small and then they will dry it. From there, they will send it to Grammys and then crush it. Then they will soak it for some time, parboil it. Then distill the water. And then when it is fermented, then they cook it. And then maybe they add Pito wick, we call it Pito wick. But locally we call it linya. We add Pito wick to it, and then when it's fermented, typical process you use to brew other alcoholic drinks. And that tells you that our people were technologically advanced before the coming of the white man. The question, who taught the Konkomba how to brew Pito? Who taught the Konkomba how to whip the wick to brew Pito? You understand? Who taught them who taught them the process of brewing Pito? So that is why I say we are unique people. Apart from the Konkombas, I can see that the Dagatis also have similar Pito. But apart from us having that Pito, I've not seen any other tribe that has such drink.
You are still watching Prime City TV. I will take a break here and then I'll return. Stay tuned. Yeah, you are welcome back to the to Prime City TV. My name is Godwin Bedo Bakantiche. I'm here with the Koya National President, Jawol Besuna Titus. Lemantwa, my band Ponake, me ne Japan Bakantiche Bedo Godwin. Meleka Kajum Bebum Natinese Lenne Koya Anokwe. Timber Kopamba, no go little points and Jawol Besuna Titus, no malaba to bar. Nya gruchi ke bao te wat le te ba to kunkuna ke fa. And so Uh, the viewer, I hope the next time you make a trip to Saboba, you will want to taste Pito because that is the drink of the Konkomba people. And we're actually in Saboba, the headquarters of Kekwapang. I'm talking to the Korea National President. Mr. President, um, we are coming to talk about one controversial issue which I'm sure you want me to, or you thought I would have forgotten. That's the association of Konkombas with violence. Mr. President, are Konkomba violent?
No.
No care. Why? Because there can be a, a conflict in Accra. In any part of Ghana, immediately Konkombas are mentioned, they say, oh, they have started. And each time students, they go to schools and then they introduce themselves as Konkombas, the first thing anyone says is, mununu. To it, you are those. That means they are violent. So, Mr. President, elaborate more on why you've said no.
Konkombas are not violent. It's just like in America. They have their slogan, touch one, touch all. Are they violent? That's even a world slogan. America will touch one, touch all. The Kongomas are such that before you say that Kongomas are fighting, my brother, they will endure it for a very long time. And because of the kind of suppressive behavior we have from the colonial rule to date, other tribes think that Kongomas are people they have to deal with. And sometimes you see religious factors coming here. When we are not Christians, we are largely traditionalist. When we are sharing resources with other people, they think we are profane. We are not chaste. So you see that kind of backbiting behavior, denigrating type of life, and other things. And you see the traditional setup and the system. I'm in my hometown. I have different culture, you have different culture. But you come to want to rule me with your own culture. And you want my cultures to be distinct. I will not agree. So when people are doing this and they keep on going to government and other things, then you see that at least one day, the people will explore. And when Konkomba explore, I will tell you the truth. That one you cannot. That is where people see the violence nature of Bukpapam. When they say they are fighting, they will fight. And that one I won't deny it. When we say we are fighting, we are fighting. But we don't just react like the people are saying. People will cause us, and when they cause us, they will go on the quiet. The government and other, state system are not also working as they are. If we are violent, look at it. You witness yourself. What happened in Charponi this year? We didn't fight. We sat back. Call ourselves, but nobody said that we are not violent. When people do it to us, nobody will say that we are quiet. But when they do and we do it, then they think we are violent. But I will tell you that a typical Konkomba, when you touch him, and the Kongombas said that when you touch one, you touch all, just like in America. Because whether they know themselves, they don't know themselves, immediately they hear that you are touching one, they will come and touch you.
So the next time you meet a Konkomba, don't just touch him because you feel like touching him. Mr. President, you said Konkombas are not violent. When I went out with the production team out there on the streets of Saboba, they were amazed as to the way people were ready to welcome them. Even they didn't know them, but they were ready to welcome them. My production manager, Ronnie, was like, he hasn't seen this because he has traveled all across Ghana. Yes, people might behave differently at other places, but he has seen that this is an exceptional treatment the people of Saboba were giving him. So why this this association with violence?
Thank you very much. As we are saying, when we talk about violence, I just want to draw people's attention. We are not violent. We are very hospitable. There are accounts here, there are teachers. There are other trusts who are also teachers and nurses and other. You have never heard one day that the Konkomba attack any of them. Why? There are other things like elections. Saboba, as we are sitting down, there has never been a single electoral violence. In fact, we are the only tribe that you have never seen electoral violence in Saboba, burning political office or killing any other person or doing any other thing. You can check Gushigu, check the records of other Cherponi and other towns. If we were violent, this is where you would have seen it. But as I told you, there are land issues, chieftaincy issues. They are peculiar issues that when people overpress us, we will not agree. And that's why people think we are violent. Otherwise, we are in Accra, in the greater number. In Ghana, Masa, we occupied about 26 districts in Ghana. In fact, we are the only tribe that could occupy, I'm not talking about in numbers, but district-wise, we are the only tribe that can be found in any other district more than any other tribe. We are in 6 regions in Ghana. Northeast, Northern region, Otu region, Volta region, Eastern region, and Greater Accra. And when you go there, we have a name. When you get to Accra, we have Konkomba market. In fact, we are the only people who have market in Ghana. Because of our hard-working nature. If we get to Kumasi, we have Konkomba Yam Market in Kumasi. But you never heard Asante Market, even though they are for the land. And then we feed a lot of people. But people who want to steal from us, as we are in the north here, if we catch you, some are lazy. They want to depend on us and feed us. And because they think that they could subjugate us, think that we don't have the land, people took cows from our grandfathers, forced them to pay cows. Go and farm for me in those days. My brother, the white man had left the country. Ghana saw that the white people were suppressing us. Then they came together to say that we wanted our independence. Yet our own brothers who were in the northern region wanted to have us as internal colonialism. That was where Konkomba started. And since the time of German, Konkomba has fought several wars. The first war Konkomba fought with the German were 1896. When Konkomba fought with German, they fought with the France, a place called Wabunyon. In Togo, I've been there. I'm not talking the story. I've been to Wabunyon. Kongombas fought the French soldiers there. Then Kongombas came back in 1940. Kongomba had a war with the Kongombas in Zagwele, where I am born. Called Zagwele War. It's one of the popular wars. Kongombas came back to fight in 1943. So these are the records. When people read, historians who read about Kongombas, they think that they are wars, and that is why they fought this kind of conflict intermittently. But they have failed to find out why the people behave the way they behave. Kongombas don't fight. I am sitting here. If you come to ask me to come and go and farm for you, I will not agree. If you come and see my cow and you cut my cow by force to go and sell, I will not agree. This is what actually happened, and people think that Kongombas are violent because people actually want to extort, they want to exploit, they want to oppress and suppress us. So if you push me to the last wall, I have to defend myself. The land on which we are seated, some people will just invade and then they think that they are the landlords. You should go and bring the bull, go and bring the cow, come and farm for me. If you have a funeral and then you kill a cow, bring the leg, contribute money and bring it to me. There's nobody in this world who will take that. So if this is the description people who want to associate with violence, then I think that we should have allowed the white man to be colonizing Ghana. Then we accept what they were doing to us. If the people would want to go to us, this would have been exactly what would happen. For instance, I was a small boy in 1994. When the 1994 conflict came, actually, I could weep because I had not been to Saboba before. Even in the classroom, your colleagues will tell you, you are very stupid. You are not coming from Ghana. Your grandfathers are from Togo. Nobody at all will insult you. You don't have the land. Even to go and fetch water was a problem. They wouldn't even allow you. And to the extent that some teachers will have to send only Konkomba boys to weed on their farm. I'm not speaking out of exaggeration. I was part of them. Leaving others. So one day I myself rioted because I made us to go and clear somebody's field because he selected us as Kongombas to go and weed the field. So I intentionally commanded my colleagues to weed off all the maize so that we could carry the matter forward, and I asked why it was only Konkomba boys who were asked to go and weed. All the houses in Yendi, you could see that they will be having meetings all the time. Bring this, bring goat, cause confusion here and there. So actually, if Ghana will have peace. Congolese are peace-loving people. I'm not saying others are equally violent. They are also good, but there are some elements who will get up and then be causing trouble here and there. And in the northern region here, that kind of thing is there. However, I am not completely reading it out that Konkombas don't have bad elements. They also have, just like other tribes. Look, if they say violent, I live in Accra, I live in Akusumbu, I see people having violent. I ask myself, is that how these people are? And they say, we are violent? Langas. If we get to Accra, look at the Langas. They are there. That's what we call violence. But well, you can never even hear anything here. So every tribe will have people who are good and who are not good. Sometimes too. But I want to tell you that Konkombas, we fought some symbolic wars. And because of that, people think that we are bad, especially 1981, 1994. And that 1994 conflict was unfortunate. It was just because of Guinea Fowl. People have narrated bad story about that Guinea Fowl war, which is not true.
Yes, that brings me to the next question. On the issue of violence and conflict, my next question will come, but just to remind you, my name is Godwin Bakante Chembedobi, and this is Pram City TV. Hit the like button. Whatever your sentiments are, whatever reservations you have, go to the comment section, put it there, and then we'll see, and then we'll duly acknowledge your contribution. Mr. President, on the note of violence and conflict, each time, again, in schools down south and even in the north, when you say you are a Konkomba, and then you tell them that you are from Saboba or wherever, they ask you, were you those who fought over a Guinea fowl? I confirm to it, a Guinea fowl. Then you are like, why would people fight because of a Guinea fowl? Lives were lost and then so many things. Why? What was actually the cause? Oh, sorry, what happened? And then it has been termed as a Guinea fowl war conflict.
Thank you very much. I can remember I was around 16 years or 17 years at that time. And whatever happened, my father was one of the opinion leaders and they do have meetings. That is how I was privileged to know much about what happened. That was on 3rd June 1993. The paramount chief of Saboba and the Konkomba chiefs wrote a letter to the paramount chief of Yendi at that time, asking that they wanted to elevate one of them to become a paramount chief and take care of the Konkombas in accordance with the customs and traditions of the Konkomba people, because they realized that they do not share the same tradition and customs with the Gomes and other tribes. When this letter got to Debunking at that time, the letter was read, a meeting was held on 28th December 1993. You see that from June to December. And decision was taken on the letter. And Konkomba elders were invited to come and see whether they are those who wrote that letter. So when they got there, they accepted the content of the letter, that they were those who wrote the letter. So the letter was sent to the National House of Chiefs. And the National House of Chiefs asked that the tone of the letter should be actually mild. They should reduce certain things and then fasten out the letter and then represent it. When the Dagombas heard of this, any Dagomba boy, any Dagomba woman, anybody at all will insult Konkombas. They will punish Konkombas who come to market. I can tell you an authority that at that time, the late Ntakimi said, Bonshika, I'll go and what treat me. I didn't know Saboba. You go there and you could see people linking basketball against Kongomas in the market. Sometimes I will whip as a small boy when I get to school. There you should be standing there and the basketball will be leaning against you. So they started meting this kind of treatment to Konkombas in Yendi and Bimbla and so many other places. So there was clear indication that there could be something. And there was a rumor of a war. But the state relaxed. People relaxed. Even every ordinary person knew that there was going to be a war. So this Konkomba man sent a Guinea fowl. That's where the name Guinea Fowl War came. Because of the tension, the Konkomba boy had gone to school in Mbembla, and then he was stabbed with a pen, and then the pen was pushed into his stomach. The boy died. Then the next day, they had met to ask why such thing happened. And I can remember the chief at that time was now Abaraka, I believe. So when they invited the boys who committed that particular heinous crime, the father said the son was a hero and killed a dog.
Wow. Stabbing someone with a pen and being praised of being a hero. If not Pram City TV, where would he get this? The story is unfolding. Relax and enjoy. Let's continue.
So when you take a look at a book called Pamphlets in Ghana, written by Ibrahim Mama, actually I spoke with him on phone and I told him I wanted academic argument with him, especially about this war. He's old now. We talked about it. Now the very boy who committed this crime, his uncle went to market and saw a Konkomba man whose son was killed selling a guinea fowl. This is where the story comes from. So this particular man went and demanded for the price of the guinea fowl. And another person came and also offered another price. The Konkomba man, knowing that this particular family killed our boy and they are coming to buy our guinea fowl. And it's a black guinea fowl. And in northern Ghana, black guinea fowls were used for juju. So everybody wanted it. It was actually one of the, hot cake commodity in the market. So the Konkomba man refused to sell the guinea fowl. And then it became a problem. So this another Konkomba group of people came and seized up the guinea fowl and said that they don't want it to cause a problem. They should send the guinea fowl back. So while on the way, they also took the same car. They were sharing boundaries. While on the way, the Konkomba man seized the guinea fowl from the woman, the Konkomba woman, and told the woman to go and tell the husband that he wants the guinea fowl to do something with it if they will not sell the guinea fowl to him. You see where it came from. So, the next day, the Konkombas were going to their farm, knowing that they will also be at farm, and they have to go there and ask them. And knowing very well that your son killed my son, and then you said that they killed a dog. They didn't go, they also armed themselves. So when they went and saw the people at farm, they confronted them. Knowing that they were two people, they started chasing them. So they realized that they would kill them with cutlass and other things. So they started shooting. After shooting, they came home and then declared that they had a problem with these people at farm, and then they actually killed them. Hence, the war started. That's what I was saying, that Konkomba are not violent, but when you touch them, then that was where the 1994 Guinea Fowl War issue started. But then there was media reportage that there were stockpiling of arms in Mbembla. Those things are in news. You see, all these things that Konkombas are violent, it is about media. Your media. It is the TV and the radio stations that are painting us back. Because when they were doing all these things, and the police station in Mbembla was broken. The police station was, looted, and the arms were missing at police station. The state did not do anything about it. Nobody asked where were those weapons, even to date. So sometimes it is all about the way we report these particular issues. You read, you don't understand, you go and sit somewhere. This time, we are not going to leave anybody. When you publish anything about Konkombas wrongly, we will sue you and take you on. Because you must know what you are talking about. And you must know it and know it well. So the Pito War, the 1981 was about Pito again. And this one, nomenclatured Guinea Fowl War. How do we have wars that are associated with Pito and Guinea Fowl? Nobody, no true historian or media until today want to know exactly what happened. And what I'm saying, I'm speaking in English. If there's something, somebody who knows about it will say, oh, this is a lie. And then people will begin to talk about it, and you see that the story will be unfolded. So that we will not brainwash the brains of the next generation that Konkombas fought because of the guinea fowl. And anyway, who was for the guinea fowl? The guinea fowl belonged to Konkomba. How will they go and fight in Nanomba for a Guinea fowl that belonged to them. You are getting me? It means that somebody wanted to exploit and seize the Guinea fowl. And I'm telling you, even today, if you want to seize a Konkomba man's Guinea fowl, he will fight you. That will he won't forgive you. So people shouldn't. We are not violent, but when it comes to that one, we are not on the ground.
He just mentioned something about the Pito War, and I will take a break here and then come back, and then we'll wrap up with the Pito War, the history behind that. Now you know the true story behind the Guinea Fowl War. If you don't know, subscribe and watch Pram City. That's where the facts are. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to Pram City TV. My name is Godwin Mbedo Bakantiche. I'm here with Jawel Besuna Titus, the president, national president actually, for Konkomba Youth Association, Koya for short. And we are here in Saboba, the capital of the Konkomba people, to learn more and to know more about the Konkomba people. We left off on the point of the Pito War. After learning about the Guinea Fowl War, let's go and listen to the story behind the Pito War. Mr. President, you're welcome back.
Thank you. The Pito War is another episode that Ghanaians must know the true origin of the nomenclature Pito War. You see, in 1980s, Konkombas were oversuppressed. Like I told you earlier, the Nanombas wanted Konkombas to bring legs of animals killed for funerals. If you wanted to have a communal labor, you have to come and ask for permission. Then all that happened was that Konkombas will have to sell their grains. Even today, it still happens. When you are selling your grains to go and sell for the Nanomba and the Gomba, they will measure for you. When they are going to sell for you, they will measure. They will not allow you to measure. Just look at it in Ghana. Yeah, nobody is seeing something wrong about this. Now, these particular Konkombas objected that they were not going to allow anybody to measure their crops. If they were going to sell for you, they will measure for you. If they also come to buy from you, you measure for them. Then the chief of Bembla had a meeting and they said, la, the Konkombas could not do that. So this thing started and then they were insulting Konkombas, and the chief's son was also drinking Pito with the Konkombas and other people. So they sit down to do this kind of argument over there, and all of them were drunk. So the man told Konkombas that they were prepared to kill them. If you don't know,
Kill.
Idalapaya. You understand? I'm speaking the language.
Idalapaya.
Idalapaya. Idalapaya.
Meaning?
Meaning, if you don't know, this Anome will kill you. So the argument occurred there. Then he removed his knife. You understand?
The son of the chief?
The chief. I mean, if not direct, but related. Yeah. To choose the Konkomba man. The Konkomba man, he got black juju. So when he gave it to him, it didn't enter. Then he also removed. Our people used to have some knives just down here. He removed his and stabbed him. Actually, whether it was the Konkomba man who stabbed him and he died, or it was in the course of the scaffold that something might have happened and he died. Then, when he fell down, then the Konkomba took off. Then they started killing those Konkombas who were in town. And at that time, the current northern and his chairman, the father, Ali, was the chief of Konkombas in town. They mobilized all the Konkombas and then asked them to come so that you kill them. Then they refused to go. So the war started in 1981. So because they were drinking Pito, an argument ensued in the course of, drinking the Pito, and the person died there. Somebody titled the war Pito War, hence the nomenclature Konkomba Nanomba Pito War. It was not about drinking Pito. It was not about fighting over Pito. It was not about doing anything about Pito. But the argument started right away from where they were drinking the Pito.
Okay. So now we now have the history. We now know the history behind the Guinea Fowl War or conflict, and we now know the story behind the Pito War. Now I want to narrow down personally to you. You are the president of Koya National and any other Konkomba anywhere on the globe. You are the president. You are having a heavy task. What motivated you to contest for this position?
Thank you very much. I can say my motivation start from my father. My father was, I would say, he was one of the freedom fighters. While I was young, because he was not afraid, all meetings that Konkomes we held at that time was in his house.
Yeah, the meetings were held at his house. I will continue. Your father, like, let's know your father's name and then his contribution.
Yeah.
Then
My father, my late father, Mr. Joshua, Jagri Joshua. If you get to Yendi, everybody knows him. Actually, my father was troublesome when it comes to defending Konkomba. You understand, my late father? He would defend the Konkomba to the latest. And I quite remember, he told me a story. I was not born, or if I was born, during our champion's time. They had asked the Kongomes and other tribes to bring cows to the Yana. They brought all the cows and then they announced all the cows. The Chakosis brought these cows. Basari brought these cows. When it came to Konkoma, they didn't announce. They kept the cows so that when the president was gone, they would kill the cow and share their meat. Meaning Kongomes did not come for the function. Their contribution were not acknowledged. So my father rise up from the gathering. Immediately the president had left. He went to Yana's palace and they untied the cow and told them that they won't eat this cow. While I grew up, there was another situation when the Yana find the Konkomba to go and bring a bull. This is where my motivation started. Then my father, Koya was found in 1978. My father and other educated people met in our house. I was dropping, hiding somewhere, washing bowls, and I heard them. Then my father said, "This cow today will not sleep in Yana's house. We'll go for it." The other Kongomes refused to go for the cow. Then my father called me out. He didn't want me to know that we were going to Yana's house to go and bring that bull. Because I won't go. As a small boy, I was afraid. So he called me and then he gave the one road to me. That's who have this and we'll go. He was having some bicycle. He sat on the bicycle. How we got there? He dropped. Without that, he was having his knife. He got there and ate it. Greeted Mr. Philippe was one of them who moved. Then when he got there, that he wanted to see Anna. They thought that he wanted to, they knew him to be a trouble man. So they made him to wait for some time. He told them that the cow that you went and asked the Kongo mama to go and bring, that cow will not sleep in Yendi. If this cow should sleep in Yendi today, it means that Konkombes were slaves and then we will never be free. He went and they used his knife and severed the rope. And they asked me to be whipping the cow so that the cow will be running. While he was pulling the cow and they were coming, he was holding his knife. They single-handedly, he took the cow and then gave the cow to the Konkombes to send it back to wherever it came from. So all the time, he would be talking. And what we could hear from him was that, when will Konkombes be free? I didn't know the kind of slavery that I could hear him shouting. How can you be charging people to bring animals? Come and pay this and that. So I told myself, what was Koya? So if these people were fighting for freedom, I have to also fight for freedom today. So I have in my head. And one day they asked of the history of Bukpakpa. And that was the day I realized that, no, I have to do something much about my own people. And when, after the war, all the experience I had, the suppression of our people, the way they treated our people, even in the hospital, police station, other places, I vowed that I was going to become a member of Koya. So right away, when I became a small boy, I followed everything. Every meeting I would come. So when I was in the college, I contested for the position of the general secretary, and I won. And I think I served under two presidents as general secretary of the association before, and then before I became the president. Actually, I became passionate about Konkomba issues because of the kind of slavery and the denigrating attitude of our brothers whom we lived with. And even today, I still have that passion. And that is why when you see me and then you want to suppress Konkombas, I feel like dying because it won't happen. That one under my watch. And that is why when people see matter, they will think that we are violent. No, it is the way, conditioning and reconditioning. If somebody who has killed my grandfather, somebody who has suppressed my grandfather and suppressed my father is coming to suppress me today, my mind is already conditioned that that person will do exactly what he or she has done. And this is where the land issue and chieftaincy issues are coming from. Okay, I thank the Pram City TV for traveling all the way from Accra. Look at the traffic to Saboba, crossing all the way to Saboba just to have our story told so that the narratives be changed. I say, I thank them for the great job. I want to encourage my Konkomba brothers and other brothers in the north that even though we are talking about slavery, suppressions, and riot and other things, it is not good for us. Our common enemy is poverty, which we have to come together and fight against. We have to love peace in the north. We have to promote our identity and culture, irrespective of where we come from. And to my brothers Konkombas, even though people are saying that we are violent people, let us change the narratives. So that when you have an issue with someone, you should not take the law into your own hands, but make sure that you pass through the right channels. We have the legal system that we can exploit. Nobody should think that you can do what you can do and go for free. No. Notwithstanding, we are not saying that anybody at all should just think that you can come and then do anything and go scot free. That one, I cannot guarantee your safety. I can only guarantee your safety when you are coming and then you are doing your good bidding. But when you come and you want to subjugate the people, I cannot guarantee your safety at that time. I also want to inform our people that this year, we are just at the verge of ending the year. And come somewhere, April, first week of April, that will be Easter time. We will be having Koya National Convention. And this year is Congress. Congress means we'll be having election. In the Konkomba who has interest in the position, in the Konkomba who is in the way, to make sure that this year they all come for Koya Convention because it's going to be historic. Because we are going to launch our history. All that we are talking about, we are preparing to learn that history live. So much about us. Our chiefs will be in greater attendance. We will have so many programs that will talk about who we are, that will enlighten people about us, so that the world will know much about us. We also know much about ourselves. And when we come together, that's why we will be able to know ourselves. Friends will see friends, families will see families. Then our other people. And when we are celebrating our convention, when we have our convention, we do invite other people. We invited the Gombes, the Moses are in fact the second largest people who live with us here. They are our brothers. And you see, if we were violent, we are Moses, we are here, we never fought. They are our brothers. The Ewes are also there. We invite all of them. We invite other tribes. And then this year we will be inviting all of them so that we celebrate the anniversary together and do our elections so that we will continue to live in peace because we want Ghana to grow beyond conflicts. Conflicts will not help anybody in this country. Be you a Konkomba, Dagomba, Mosi, Chakosi, or any other tribe. What we need is unity, togetherness. Without Konkombas, other tribes cannot live. Without other tribes, Konkombas cannot live. Because all of us are interrelated. Some buy, some farm, some supply other goods. So that's how we all need to learn how to live together. Even though troubles there, we cannot say troubles will not come. The troubles will come, but we should learn how to manage them. Once again, I say a big thank you on behalf of Konkombas and other people to Pram City TV for traveling all the way from Accra to Saboba to find something of this nature to tell the world so that the world will know much better and will not misinterpret in the historical antecedent that will further cause trouble. So to Pram City TV, I say thank you. Today, my little what na leke to do Pram City TV ya kabanya na Accra kabiba yun kudba mombili Ghana papa na kuchungu dan chabo kabina likti mu ko pam atu dunya ya adunya ba likti katiye bin ba bonna bibbe ta ibin bina to do am pam tilen kale bilim na mba mata ibini ba bonina tibetum wan no yuntin ka chabole ye tudo chetim ka pa ba antap ka ya ta ben ma chira timang di cha ba ta ka do kilen ka chabole ye tudo kunyu bela ka chabole ye tudo na katibini ya cho kana funta kpang di cha pa chabo tiden chabo ka ta ka ko ni china chaba ngan ka ta na funka timli lati ba bi ibini lati ne wana libil mana tibu bi duwala na timu abi duwana libil ta gara kpang ko ya ku mamu ne ka mo nya ni mi ben kando ni mi be akra ni mo na ni mo da atikpa na klita ga libil ta gara kpa ilesin ka tika nya onu kpe ni mapu ni pa na ba ta da aklita ga mo ni lingana ni nutu pam umbo terni kichete mo lo jota mba mo kita ja ka nga ni nutu pam
Nene Lutumpam is the word, the final words from the Koya National President Jawol Besuna Titus. My name is Godwin Mbedu Bakantichi. I brought you this interview live from Saboba on Pram City TV. Keep watching Pram City TV because this is where you get all that you need, the historical facts, nothing but the facts. If you have not subscribed, once again, I'm urging you to subscribe. Put your comment in the comment section and we will duly acknowledge your comment. Once again, I thank you for your time and keep watching Prime City TV.